there. I was like
Yeah.
2, 3. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Outside the Box, the podcast devoted to supporting Central PA small business. Today we have Kristin Actually, I don't know how I pronounce your last name, and I've had you on before, so I should know this. But I pronounce your name in my head McMahon because that's how I remember how to spell it. Just like I say castle in my head, and there's some other words that I say like that. Touchy. I use that one a lot
That's a
for
good
touche.
one.
Yeah. But we're going to talk to Kristin in a minute. And I told her that I knew how to point the right way, and I just messed it up. So, but I am your host, Derek Fixler, realtor and digital marketing geek right here in Central PA. I grew up on the hill in Harrisburg, went to Mechanicsburg High School, go Wildcats, and then went up to Penn College of Technology. Also, some kind of Wildcat, the Panther, or it might actually be the Wildcats or something, Mountain Lions or something. Contact me if you need to buy or sell a home. We inventory is really low. You get my spiel every time. Text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon if you need to buy or sell a home. We really need inventory. Like I said, if you would like to subscribe to our email, go to supportcentralpa.com and you can get networking mixer invites, updates, and episode announcements, and exclusive special offers. That's usually the part I mess up, and I messed up the first part. So if you want all that stuff, go to supportcentralpa.com and sign up for our weekly email there. And it's me drafting those emails. It's not spammy, it just tells you what's going on and gives you the exclusive special offers, of which Kristin, pointing the right direction, will have one at the end of the show for you. If you are in Clubhouse, follow me. I'm at Agent Derek. We used to meet there. Today, after the show, we don't anymore because the attendance was sparse and it was kind of cumbersome for me going on air here for an hour, and then that is kind of being on air for an hour also. So we're not doing that, but we're going to pick up some rooms at some point. So just follow me on there and we'll figure out the rooms as we go. I'm ready to ask a question in the comments, or if you're watching and you know either of us, say hi in the comments. If we don't see it now, we'll come back later and address your question or comment. And a reminder that the replays are available on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere you want to consume your content, and soon on iTunes and all the audio platforms and all that stuff. Like I always say, there's 100 or I don't even know how many episodes now that I have to upload, and it's going to take forever. I might get a ISA or a VA to do it. I'm not sure because it's going to be a pain. So here we are. I'm going to stop Gavin, and we're going to bring in a guest who we've had before, Kristin McMahon, and you can tell us how to actually pronounce your last name. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally before we go into your business.
Absolutely. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate being back and all the things that you and Christy are doing for Central PA Support Small Business. So phenomenal to have our community, come together, stay together, and then, of course, rise up here in 2021. It is Kristin McMahon. I still answer if you add the extra syllable there at the end. But yeah, I heard when I acquired this name, if you will, that it's just like Ed and Jim. So that's the line that I tend to say as well. So I am from northeastern Pennsylvania. So yes, the places in the office are real. I have been to many of those. So I grew up right above Scranton in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Ventured past Scranton to go to pharmacy school at Wilkes University in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and
Still pretty close.
Absolutely close enough and far enough away, right? Close enough to home.
How far is that?
Because
I feel like here, whenever you hear news, that's always Wilkesville, Scranton, kind of like they're the same place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're about a half hour apart. So, and then Wilkes-Barre is about an hour from home.
A lot of hills there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, everything's on a hill. Isn't there the ski mountain there? What's that called?
Round Top. Well, no, that's this one. Snow Mountain. It was Montage Mountain in my youth.
Yes. Yeah. We used to go up there for a basketball tour, a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, of which we kicked butt, and then we went to Colorado. But we used to love that. It was in the parking lot, but our friend, his family lived there, and all I remember is just lots of hills and lots of potholes.
Lots of potholes. Absolutely.
And then don't they have a big Irish parade or something?
Yes, Scranton, I believe, is known to be the world's largest St. Patrick's Day parade, and I've been to that, and all the bars are open very early. So
I wonder if that's back this year.
When is attractiveness? I think they did a modified one for this year. So that was, back in my college youth days.
Yeah, I went up. We went up there one time just to go to that, and I think Hillary Clinton there was
Oh.
on that day. I think it was back when she was running, maybe against Obama or something. It was,
Oh.
but uh,
She was in town.
yeah, yeah, it was a big deal. We didn't
Oh,
care.
yeah.
We were oblivious and not paying attention to it. But um, yeah, that's cool. So then you went
Yeah.
to pharmacy school right
Yes.
nearby. And how long
Yep,
is
and
pharmacy school? That's a bachelor program.
so 6 years, so you do 2 years of it's essentially pre-pharmacy, and after 4 years, so you do not get a degree. You then do 4 years of pharmacy school. So you get your doctor of pharmacy after the 6-year program, and that was a switch, from a 5-year
Hmm.
Bachelor of Science program to 6 years for your doctor of pharmacy. So yeah, that was a long, long time ago. Played field hockey for Wilkes, go Colonels. And still I'm so fortunate to be connected with all my best friends from Wilkes. There's 7 of us. We live in, I don't know, 5 different states. And we're still pretty excited that we can still pick up that conversation wherever we were and left off and, you know, go be all nostalgic about Wilkes, of course.
Are these are all field hockey teammates you're referring to, or just
5
friends
of us
from there?
are. 5 of us played field hockey. 1 played soccer and 1 was a football cheerleader.
Field hockey always I why can you only use one side of the I mean that's what makes it more
Right?
challenging and adds to the
Yeah.
game, but that always annoyed me. Um
Yes. Yes. And so in our house we have both ice hockey sticks and field hockey sticks because we have 2 previous hockey players in this house and of those 2 different types. So the kids, are already learning which stick they use both sides and which they can, use both. So
the
they're
balls are
figuring it out early.
the thing you hit is also very different.
Oh, and it's hard too. So caught one of those to the lip right before prom in high school. Just why not? Why not?
Nice. Did you get a lot of cards? Don't they give like yellow cards, red cards, that kind of thing or
They
something?
do. They do. I did seem to sometimes activate my red hair on that field hockey field and may have been asked to politely sit down sometimes with some red cards.
But not
take a
notoriously
take a
so.
break.
You're just like a
Just
normal
take a
player.
quick break, like 2 minutes. Yeah. We'll see you in a couple minutes back out here.
Is there any kind of like, do you get kicked out after you get the red one is the bad one, right?
Yeah, I think you're only allowed 2 red ones, and then you gotta go wait on the bus if you're the away team.
So it's like a technical foul in basketball, basically. I think you get 2
Yes.
or 3 before you
Yeah.
gotta.
Yeah, you still get a lot of warnings.
Yeah, well, that's fun. So you said you didn't do pharmacy when you came out, or you did for a little bit?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So, I can't even remember how long I did pharmacy because that's how long I did it. So I worked as a retail pharmacist and in Maine, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. So right out of school, I moved up to Maine and was a retail pharmacist. Did lots of different stores, and there was a pharmacist shortage, and so I would actually open a store in the morning, close that one, and then go and open a different one for these rural areas that if we didn't open the pharmacy, of course they wouldn't be getting their medication. So pretty important, stuff going on there. Then I did
So are
Connecticut,
those
and then came
chains
back to
out there?
Pennsylvania. Yep,
Sorry, are those
so
chains
Rite
out
Aid.
there? Or they yeah.
Yep, Rite Aid is was up north before Walgreens, Rite Aid acquisitions, and in the world of retail pharmacy, it seems like there's always some sort of transitions and which store is that? And in fact, some of those stores in Maine were Walgreens that had been sold to Rite Aid, a million years ago, and then ended up, being sold back, which is very interesting. So, yep. And then came back and worked at Rite Aid Corporate for a whole bunch of years. So, in pharmacy training, pharmacy operations, new business pharmacy development, clinical safety measures, and a whole lot of excitement there as well. So not always, I wasn't on the bench as one of for doing pharmacy all of those years. Lots of different aspects for sure, which is pretty cool.
So is that what brought you to Central PA for Rite
Yep.
Aid headquarters?
Yep, absolutely. Started in the pharmacy training department there. Um, gosh, I'm the worst with dates. Let's go with, I feel like we moved here in 2007. Yeah, yeah, so many years ago.
So why did you go into pharmacy in the first place? Did
Yeah, so I went into
you hung out with the
pharmacy.
weed smokers in high school and you like drugs,
Ah,
or you just
it was
wanted
so
to
it
help
was
people,
it
or
was my high school, no, 8th grade science teacher. She said the one day, she was like, "Do you like," she's like, "You're really good in science. Have you thought about being a pharmacist?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "Oh, well, you should consider it." And so I did. And, it stuck. Went to pharmacy school and, stayed in that science realm, if you will. And, so definitely wanted to help people too as a part of it. I didn't have any pharmacists in my family, didn't really understand, what all that meant. So all by the time I was, I think, a sophomore in high school, all four of my grandparents had passed away. So of various ailments. And so basically said like, oh, well, I want to be able to help other kids, enjoy their grandparents longer by making sure they're getting their medications. So those two things combined really just, I kind of stuck with it. And I remember that in college a lot. People would be like, "Wait, you decided back then?" And I said, "Well, yeah, the whole veterinarian thing was getting a little dicey because I just, wanted to loved animals, but I didn't want to deal with blood or, any of the bad parts of
that's
being a
half the
veterinarian."
job. I bet that's a lot of their job is
Yeah.
the bad end of it, the
Yeah,
going
so I
out
said,
part.
"No, no, 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 no." So that was, thank goodness that, that my 8th grade Mrs. Rada teacher, Miss Johnson at the time had mentioned that, or I probably would have never considered it.
That's awesome. So you were good at science and she was just trying to think of a good career
Yeah.
path, and pharmacist is probably one of the
y-
best, most secure career paths you could take in science, maybe.
Yeah. I did. I
So it was a
spent a
good
lot of
bet.
hours in the lab, that's for sure, in college.
Is there a lot of chemistry? What kind of classes do
Mhm.
you take?
Oh yeah, chemistry, organic chemistry, which no one, oh, maybe one or two people in pharmacy school like. Most of the people that I know do not. And, if you're fortunate, sometimes you get to do that one twice because it's so much fun, or really hard. Either way, however you want to think about that. And,
You mean because you fail it? It's because it's so hard?
there's it's a trend. It's a trend for sure. And you do a lot of you do a lot of chemical, like the drug molecules. So you study a lot about what those are and then what the pharmacokinetics are of those medications and how they work and how your body absorbs them. And there's definitely a lot within there. And then of course you have to make sure that at the same time you're getting all of that knowledge, but then you also have to have patient care skills, right? So bedside manner, even though, you might not be at the bedside, and making sure that you can then translate all of that wealth of knowledge that, somehow got smushed in there, and then communicate that out and talk with those patients and understand, well, is this the right therapy for you? And with doctors as well, of course, because you're collaborating with both of them. And the pharmacists see patients a lot more than doctors do. So you're on the phone a lot too. You don't learn that part in pharmacy school, but you're in the pharmacy like this a lot. And waiting on hold, or making sure like, oh, hey, is this really the medication that you wanted? Or, it might look like they're picking up their medication, but they're really not taking it. So don't change that therapy. Let's try and work on something else, and making sure that they're taking that, and getting the full benefits of those medications. So there's a lot, within that as well.
Yeah, I seem to trust my pharmacist almost equally or more than the doctor sometimes, and I trust their knowledge. And while you guys are
Absolutely.
back there like this, we're over there sitting in the little metal
Yeah.
chair next to the
Yeah.
blood pressure machine that may or
That's
may
right.
not work. Do those things work?
Absolutely. It does depend on the situation. And, I was the mean mom a couple weeks ago when I said to, I forget which one of the little ones were with me at the time, and I said, "That's not a toy. We want to make sure those are working for the people who need them."
You have to pay. They take a quarter or something, right?
No, I think we've
Uh,
moved way past that. You don't
yeah.
have to do that. But if you want to find the Children's Miracle Network box or put your quarter in there.
Perfect. I like that. So, what was your favorite thing about being a pharmacist?
It was absolutely the patient care and having those relationships and being able to make that difference. And it made the long days shorter. And when there would be a lot of you're sick. Nobody wants to really go to the pharmacy. It's not like you're like, oh, good, we're going to the pharmacy. I'm really excited. Um, but when someone would say thank you, it's just amazing. And I can still remember that. Or I'd be driving home, when I was up in Maine, and some of those stores are really far away. Well, I remember the best days were the ones where I could say to my mom, these someone said thank you today, and it's just so genuine, and that really helps to keep you motivated and you know help that next person as well, because you do make a big difference, but you just don't always realize it because you're moving and grooving for sure.
Do you are there indicators that change your mood, like by the types of medications people are getting? So if someone's getting, I don't know, some kind of chemo or something to support, or are there triggers where you're like, oh, this person might not be coming in here for too long, that might make you
Oh,
sad, or if it's
yeah.
antibiotics all day, you're like, yeah, all day it was just
Yeah. Right.
antibiotics all day.
Right, what's going on out there? I better stay inside. Absolutely, and that's one of the key pieces of in anything that we do, and especially as new pharmacy students are being trained, of empathy, because it goes a long way, like I said, in everything that we do, but being able to ensure that you're remaining empathetic about that, we never know, right? I like to say in my regular life, you just never know what someone else is going through. I think we tend to say, "Oh my gosh, like everyone should just be happy-go-lucky all the time." Well, you don't know what news that person might have just walked across, and I think sometimes we tend to take it personally when someone might be a little, off or not as super kind, but you just never know what happened right before that conversation. And that's kind of the same thing in pharmacy, of constantly being empathetic. And like I said, it goes for a lot of things that we do in our regular days.
Yeah, hurt people hurt people. So just try to remember that, and give people
Yeah.
grace, or at
Yeah.
least breathe deeply before you react to somebody that's being like
Oh my
that. But
gosh. Oh my
so
gosh.
what was the path from, so you said Maine, and then I think you said Connecticut in there, and then obviously you ended up in at Rite Aid
Yep.
headquarters here in Central PA, and I'm assuming you stayed here and didn't go to Connecticut
That's right. I
between.
did
So
not.
what
I
was the
did
path?
not. So Maine and Connecticut, worked as pharmacy managers, and then moved to back to Pennsylvania. And everyone was always like, "Oh, you're moving back to Pennsylvania. You must be so excited." And I said, "Well, you've never been to Maine, have you? Because Maine really is the way life should be." And eventually, we're old and retired, and um, uh, you know, because we've made millions of dollars here at Challenge Island, then I'm sure we'll find our way back to Maine, but came down here to work in the pharmacy training department at Rite Aid headquarters. And I had done a corporate internship, and that's when I said, I definitely want to get back to it. So while I was at Wilkes, I went ahead and got my master's in business administration, because you had to take classes in your fifth and sixth year. And your choices were like history of pharmacy. So I was like, well, why would I take those? Why wouldn't I? If I'm here and it takes 2 years to get an MBA, I should probably do that. And so I always knew I wanted to be in the business realm of things, and make that connection with the clinical side of things and the business. And so I moved into the pharmacy training department, and then I was there until 2019, and made a career transition, if you will. I always wanted to do something as a business owner, and moved into that. And really, Challenge Island has been in existence, believe it or not, since November of 2019. Fast forward, a few months, we all know what happened in March of 2020, and Challenge Island was all set to have our first summer camp season in summer of 2020, and we did. But we did it virtually, and we really have just continued to ride the wave, if you will, with all of us as we continue to move forward and just keep having our businesses go ahead and operate as usual or whatever the right rules are at the time.
Yeah, it all seems to be moving in the right direction, so it's nice and
Absolutely.
refreshing for sure. So what when you were
Absolutely.
thinking about starting a small business, um, did you think about a bunch of other small businesses as well? Did you
Yes,
say I
of
want something
course.
that's science related?
Doesn't
Was
every
this is a
entrepreneur do that?
franchise? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what were some
So
of
the
the
first thing I was
losers?
going to do was run a field hockey business. So my best friend from high school operates a field hockey business out of our hometown, and I said, "Well, she already has the model built, so I'll just do that down here." And at the time, USA Field Hockey's was right over at Spooky Nook, and I said, "What a great, and this area has amazing programs, etc." And then I got tired because there's so much when you're starting a business, no matter what. And so I knew with my operations background and my corporate life, if you will, that evaluating other small businesses that had operating models already established and built into them was exactly. And no, I didn't consider science whatsoever. And of course, with STEAM, with the STEAM enrichment, it's science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and it's education, right? And you didn't hear me say I had an education background or a teaching certificate or any of those things. And it was interesting because I did come from pharmacy training, and that was something that, with a lot of jobs, you start in one department and then some responsibilities just never leave you. And that was one that definitely always, oh, we were just talking before, oh, behind the stage, which looks exactly like this for those of you that are watching. But when Derek and I are behind the stage, we were saying, so I used to do some training videos. So I had to, well, we were setting up like, well, I don't have tape on the floor, so I don't have my mark. And so again, that's something that you go to pharmacy school and not something I sat there learning my brand and generics and saying, oh, I'll probably be doing pharmacy training and have to know, when you say this or which way you uh, look at the camera or don't, or read off a teleprompter when someone's going too fast, all of those things, which it's just really cool that I've always had a STEAM career. And I said this as a part of the maker shift that we were able to be a part of in March, or excuse me, May. I didn't even know I had a STEAM career. And that's exactly what attracted me the most to Challenge Island, is that we all have, like, we're behind essentially in STEM and STEAM careers here in the United States, and especially for women as well. And so we have so much opportunity in this central PA region with Harrisburg University. I mean, all of that. We could use up the whole next hour to talk about all of those. But if you have 25 minutes to spare, you can watch that out on the maker shift to go into that in a lot more detail. Um,
I've actually been
but
wanting
we
to have somebody from Harrisburg University on. I was talking to that reminds me, I'm glad you
good.
said
Yeah,
that.
write
I'm
that
gonna
down.
figure out who that was and reach back out to them because
Yes,
they're
yes,
doing. I mean,
absolutely.
there's serious stuff. It's
Yeah.
they like won the video game Super Bowl or something too, or they hosted
Yes.
it or something.
Yes. Yes, one of those. I am not sure exactly either, but I was telling my nephew about it too, because when he was looking at colleges, I said, "Well, you could come here and live here, and then maybe we'd have a built-in babysitter or whatever, however that works." And I was telling him how they had like the best video gaming team. Like, how cool is that? Talk about
Yeah, I mean,
technology
more
for
people watch
sure.
that Super Bowl than the real Super Bowl. It's going to the way like video game sports
Yeah.
stuff is huge. All video game stuff is huge
Yeah.
money, especially
Yeah.
with in-app purchase. Oh man,
Well,
but
and
yeah,
obviously those kids have to design that, right? That's the STEAM career right there, is your design and all the apps, right? I whatever your favorite app is, someone is sitting behind that, not only developing the code behind it, right? But how does it look? What's the usability of that? That's all. We actually have a hanging with the STEAM stars session where you can see some of the young kids right out of school starting their STEAM careers. We had one of the developers of the Home Depot app on there, and it was like, how did, like, he never imagined he'd be designing an
yeah.
app for a bajillion-dollar corporation, right? But his design and how they work in teams, right? That's a huge part of what we all have to do. Whether we're a single business owner, we still need our team. We might not be sitting in the same cubicles or whatever, but we need to utilize those resources. And they have to take that feedback, he was saying, and then obviously put it all back together and then communicate that out. And that's exactly, we talk about STEAM, but what's really interesting is it's more of a mindset, right? So it's not just science, it's not just technology, it's not just engineering, art, or math. It's the mindset of there's a problem, what's the solution? And then, oh my gosh, how do I communicate that? And who do I collaborate with to get that? And we are all about 21st century skills here at Challenge Island. And what's really cool is the kids don't realize that they're doing that. Well, kids or adults, remember, it's not just for kids. I guess we should throw that tagline out there. But making sure that those kids of today are ready for our workforce of tomorrow. Um, and there's a really cool study out there, the Google study. So ironically, of course, you can Google the Google study. That's one of my other favorite
I
parts,
hope so.
right? That Google did. They had a hiring algorithm where they looked at top talent, right? But they wanted the best developers, and they wanted the best in just the T of technology. And then all of a sudden they realized that, oh, well, we might have the best products, but we can't get those best products to where they need to be or whatever. So once they changed their algorithm, they actually started bringing that the art, which, of course, we like to say we put the art in STEM. Once you started to put that together, then they really had their A team, right? So I guess they really had their B team before that, but it was just really cool that they were able to. So they started to recruit some of the arts degrees. So your humanities, of course, HR, we always need that. But yeah, so it was really cool that a technology company could see that. And we all know they seem to be doing okay these days.
Well, you're forced to it because if the website looks ugly, nobody's gonna click on it. So you need a
No.
designer, you need somebody to make sure because the coder guys and they make it work. They tell us
Oh,
what you want
yeah.
us to make, and we'll make it. And if it's ugly, that's your fault that it's ugly. So
Absolutely.
it's
Need to
it's completely
communicate that.
yeah. Yeah, and with digital stuff, people think it takes away kind of from art and it shifts it a little bit to a digital version. But I mean, in the business landscape, art is essential. Like making a Facebook ad, the most essential part is the creative,
Yes.
is the video or the image or whatever that is. If you can't stop them from scrolling or make them
Yep.
watch the thing, it's never going to happen. So it's all
Absolutely. Or the right colors, right? We just came from Unicorn Slimetopia today, and so we learn about the primary colors and how do we make a secondary color and where are they on that color wheel and what's complementary, and all of those things that it's all cross curricular, right? So we might have, a science focus, but it's all cross curricular. So you're getting all of those pieces all at once. And that's not the normal way that kids are, the standards are set to learn. So they actually walk away with, or adults, with more, right? More knowledge because they're able to absorb it. And it's, of course, more fun because who has dance parties at school? Not really. If you're studying for that test, it's not like the teacher puts on happy, we're busting out our dance moves. So that's really cool too, is that they're not really sure that they're getting that. But after they go home and they start building something else, because once they start building, they can't stop, then the parents can see like, wow, like that difficult concept that you weren't getting at school, you're now able to understand which force is the right force as opposed to sitting down and memorizing something. When they actually take, oh, can you see my roller coaster here? When they actually take that roller coaster and see the momentum and the kinetic energy and the potential energy happening, then they're like, oh, well, I get it now. So it's really cool to see all of that come together. To your point, like, did I look for something sizes? No, but as soon as I understood like how impactful STEAM really is, and I didn't know STEAM was a thing. I was still stuck with
mm,
STEM. So when my
ah.
16-year-old nieces, like, they started to be like, and I was like, well, what's STEM? And so they told me, they spewed it out. And if you look at toys, I swear you can't find a single toy if we go to a real store to, pick one of those out. I swear they all now have how that toy is related to STEM.
Oh, yeah,
I,
totally.
I swear I see it all the time, and it's cool. I mean, we got a marble maze.
Everyone has helped STEM because it's teaching colors, or it's there's some way that
It absolutely is. So, um, it's really cool to see it. But the other
it's like
thing,
organic on food now. If you can, or like
right,
low fat
right,
used to be. We
yeah,
just whatever the
yeah,
law says that we got to do for the minimum standard to put that on the package. We
put that
need to
there,
make it say
put
low
that
fat.
there. Well, I'd love to tell everyone, because we do family events and we did a couple virtual ones, and field trips, that as soon as they're done, they all get to be engineers when they're done. We don't give them a degree. Maybe I should.
Ooh.
But again, that mindset, right, of what's the problem? Let me understand it, because we follow the engineering process in every single one of our workshops and sessions. And then how do you fix it? Because think about, I'm sure you probably had at least one problem so far today, Derek, and you had to have a solution for that. And just continually doing that and asking and then sharing. One of my favorite things. Are you ready for my favorite thing to say, Derek? I've been waiting to tell you. I point blank look at whoever we're doing the workshop with and I say, "You might fail today." And I pause, my
Which
dramatic pause.
when in the introduction,
Right away, right
right
away.
away. This is like the first line you
Because
say.
yeah, okay, well, it's the 7th. It's law number 7 of Challenge Island. So, um, and then I
Wait,
wait
wait,
for
wait,
them
wait, wait.
to
We want to hear
gasp.
all 7 laws of challenge. 7 of them. We can list those
8,
real
there's
quick.
8, there's
8.
8.
Let's hear them.
So, well, I had a workshop this morning, so I
Oh,
left mine there. Oh, wait, hold on.
you don't know
Okay.
them by heart?
Oh, no, no, no. I don't have should I get them tattooed? I probably
Yeah.
should. Be kind and respectful is rule number 1. Respect the property of others, and we actually ask, well, what does that mean? Should you go over and take Susie Q's scissors? No, we have to respect the property of others. We have to help create, right? Because it's a big part of it. Help clean up. We love that one for sure. Never give up is number 7. Number 8 is imagine, dream, and smile. And I make them smile and celebrate everyone's successes. So go ahead, warm up your clapping hands, Derek. We need to celebrate everyone's successes too. And so when I tell them that rule number 7, never give up, first I wait for them to be like, because the next thing I say pretty immediately, Derek, is, and it's okay if you fail, as long as you never give up. You're going to fail, and then you're going to work together with your team to figure out, well, how else can we problem solve this? What else can we do? If Miss Kristin is the one doing it, she usually just uses more duct tape. But that doesn't always work. But they figure that
Usually that
they're
will
built.
work.
Yes, and
Have you
of
ever seen the
course,
MythBusters episode on duct
no,
tape? Do you know?
I'll have to
Oh,
look
it's
that one
great.
up.
They make
I
bridges
actually
out
might
of
have.
it. There might be a couple episodes. They even the one they somebody takes like a saw, chops up a car into pieces, like the frame, the doors off, like doesn't just
Oh
take
my
it apart,
gosh.
chops it up. They put it back together with duct tape and then drove it like 60 miles an hour down the desert or something. But
Okay,
it's an awesome episode.
I have to check that one out for sure. And it's really cool, right? Because then they're celebrating each other's successes and they realize that when they're failing, that takes it away, right? Even in our adult work life, can you imagine you walk in every day and your boss, or you are your boss, and you go, hey, you're going to fail today. And guess what? It's okay. Because you're going to learn from that. And we have to learn from that to continue to improve. And that's why I love saying, like, you're engineers when you leave, because you have a challenge, you're the one figuring it out. My next favorite thing is when we give the kids our pipe cleaners. We use a lot of, oh, there's all my supplies back there. This is where all the magic happens. We kit everything up since we're a mobile business, and we bring, based on our
Oh
cross
wait, did you
curricular
say
lesson
you
plans.
sorry. Did you say you hired Laura? Is that what?
Oh yeah, I watched this podcast from Laura's Organizing Spaces, and I well actually started to, because life, intersects with work when you're a small business owner. We worked a lot on our family organization of stuff, but what was really cool is that as a side effect, it allowed for me to get so much more, because once it's kind of like creating. Once you start organizing, you really can't stop. and we already had like all of our, if you will, framework set up. So yeah, so you can do like I did. If I hired Laura from Derek's podcast, just call me, email, all of those things. But we come to wherever the STEAM workshops are needed. So we pack everything up. But my favorite part is when I give that stuff to whoever's doing that, or they have their kit. One of the first questions we get is, well, what am I going to do with this index card? And it's really cool to be able to say back to the person, well, what do you want to do with the index card? And they're like, well, I don't want to use it. And I said, then don't. I didn't say take this index card and put it over there, because that's me telling you what to do. But here at Challenge Island, your imagination is what drives the engineering. I'm not the one saying follow this. Well, sometimes we have to, because we have to make sure that something might actually work when we're done and it's a little more complicated. But otherwise, we're allowing that creativity. Where's your outside the box? Where did that go, Derek? I mean, we're literally thinking outside the box. You give them a box of the supplies that they can be successful to create, their Eiffel Tower, because we flew to Paris in our imagination after fastening our seatbelts. Or we're learning about mechanical orange grove. So I'm doing that next week. We just shipped out 25 kits yesterday to high school students that will be engineers for the day. They're doing a full engineering workshop. And so they have to take their different size oranges and make a sorting machine out of that. And they're learning, well, what does a mechanical engineer do, right? A STEAM career, and kind of taking some of that intimidation. A lot of people might be
Done. I
intimidated
did
by
it. I figured
engineering.
it out already.
Yeah.
What? Descending holes, right?
Oh, yeah, because there's 3 different sizes. Because oranges, right? Are all the oranges that you get, are they all the same size?
No.
No,
Well,
and they don't come off the trees that way, but they do. They come to you that way. And so
right.
that's the whole, and they get to see the whole business model of it too. Like, you're the one creating the sorting machine, but then, there's still all this business behind it as well. That's our Steam Tank Entrepreneurs Camp, which is really cool. So it's like obviously Shark Tank, but they're the ones building businesses. And I think there's probably a couple entrepreneurs on your podcast always listening in, or in our
Yeah, I was
in our
about to ask
group.
what age that starts. Well, this is a good segue. So let's officially switch over from we talked about you, we kind of heard the philosophy of the business. Now let's talk about what you offer and the specific kind
Yeah,
of
I don't think
services
you
you
asked
offer.
me that random question yet, though. When does that happen?
That's at the end.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I thought
We
maybe.
could do
Okay,
one right
so
now if you want.
I mean, it's your show. Let's save it to the end. Let's stick with the regular format.
All right. So tell us what you offer, the different services. Obviously, you mentioned birthday parties.
Yep.
Our offer is going to be birthday parties.
Oh,
You have
surprise.
camps. You run things at places
Yeah.
where they are. You also
Yep.
join forces with certain community groups too.
Hmm.
So maybe just give people kind of a bullet points of the different
Yeah.
things that they could get from you.
Thanks. Absolutely. So we are a mobile business. So we go to where the business is needed. We did officially kick off summer camp season on Monday, which is so hard to believe. We just finished Slimetopia today, and we partner with Parks and Recs, and we're so fortunate for those relationships and how we found each other along the way. And there's still several that we haven't even connected with. So as you know, we talked about, we definitely had a pandemic pause, but where we still did after school programs. We were so excited that we were able to do some in person with some smaller numbers and staying safe. We did those in the spring. We did virtual, like I mentioned, all summer long. Last year, we did it in the fall. And that actually is pretty cool, right? Because you can bring this to anywhere, really. We don't have to limit it to Central PA when you're in person. You need that physical location. And we also did some things with the various virtual events that were happening through City of Harrisburg. And so we made some sidewalk chalk. So you can check that out either on our Facebook page or on the City of Harrisburg, the Arts Fest. Really cool to be a part of that.
You made the
And there's
actual
signs.
chalk.
We did. We did. You need plaster of
You got to
Paris,
tell us how you do that.
water, and food coloring, neon food coloring, because it really makes it lighter. So you need the neon food coloring. So, and then you just put them in your molds. And I did not believe that my molds, you do not have to use nonstick spray. Can you believe that? I thought I would be digging this sidewalk chalk out of those molds. Nope. Once that plaster of Paris dries, those come right out of there.
Huh.
I was
Well, it is
really
chalk. I
impressed.
guess it's kind of like a non-sticky kind of material, I suppose. But yeah, so it's just like, is
Exactly.
that the same as they would do in a factory? Same ingredients and everything?
I think so. I've never been to one of those, but I do love factory tours, so I'll have to put that one on the list. So yeah, so that's kind of an example of some of the things that we were doing. So it's essentially after school programs, in school field trips, right? So we bring the field trips to them. We did a lot this spring, so we were really happy to see the kids be able to still have a field trip experience without, missing out completely. And we did those virtually and in person. Very fortunate to do that. The camps we already talked about, birthday parties, team building, Derek. So that's essentially our corporate team building, if you will. So that what adult doesn't want to make a roller coaster, right? But what's really cool is those same 21st century skills we talked about: creative thinking, communication, collaboration, project management. Those same skills are what all of us would use in a team environment in various businesses, etc. And we've done a couple of those. And my favorite part about the STEAM building is the project management piece of, you have to understand, right, your materials. You can't just build. Well, it's really hard for the STEAM building sessions. Each one I have had to yell at the participants and say, "Did you just pick up that cup?" And they're like, "Uh-huh." And I said, "Who told you to pick up that cup? Are you listening? Did your project manager tell you to do that part?" And it's so key, and it's that teeny tiny bit, but if we're not listening or following and collaborating and saying, "Okay, this is what we think is going to work," and then testing it and improving it and sharing, following that engineering process, we could end up with bad products. Or, that's the part of failing that we don't really want to do. We want to make sure we're being as successful as we can. So that's the STEAM building. And then I think we already talked a
And
little
that's
bit
for
about the
adults,
birthday
for
parties.
corporate environment.
Yeah, and then we can also take these same programs to our senior population. So we have Challenge Island Senior, and our Challenge Island Junior. So we modify our programs based on that learning ability. So our juniors, they don't really have scissor skills, right? So, okay, Miss Kristin or
No,
one
they
of my
don't.
amazing associates that packs things, we cut those, right? And we take those in, and they love coloring, right? So they're going to color that, but they're also going to, we created for Earth Day, we learned about recycling. And so they took the boxes that a lot of us, as at least me, even me as an adult, looks at that box and goes, "Oh, well, there goes that box. We'll put that on Friday for recycling day." No, that was a Jaguar to Challenge Island Junior participants, and they used recycled materials. And I think one of my favorites was they made a tail out of cups. So they took all of their little 3-ounce Dixie cups, put those together, and they made a
Oh.
tail on their Jaguar. So that's the beauty of it, their creativity, and how that allows them to, again, think outside the box, just like we want for our STEAM building. So yeah, Challenge Island Junior, after school programs, in school field trips, birthday parties, camps. Like I said, we're in our camp season right now. I think you had a question about Steam Tank Entrepreneurs. One of our, really, we did that one virtually last year, so now doing it in person, it's just gonna, be even more amazing. And then Challenge Island Senior as well, so taking that to our senior standards. We do family nights, we do kids night out. We did a slime kids night out, and we did snow, and we did that, back in the winter, and it was really super cool because we were able to make spinning snowmen. And we were actually able to make some snow slime that was like cool, like literally cool. See,
Huh.
the temperature. And we had color changing slime too, so pretty cool stuff. And those are polymers too, by the way, in case I had no idea slime was a polymer. And that the chemicals in slime love each other, and they are non-Newtonian substances. So there you go. There's a little bit of science for
Huh.
you.
Yeah, I pretty much assume plastic is in pretty much almost everything, unless it's made out of wood or metal. There's some kind of in the gum in your food to make it more pliable, or it's in all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
All those
Um,
chemicals.
what was I gonna say? Oh, the summer camps, and let's talk more about them, especially since
Yeah.
I put them in the thumbnail. Let's talk about more camps.
Oh, okay.
So,
Cool.
what are the
Thanks for doing
different
that.
camps, and what
Yep.
happens during a camp? Like, how long are they? What's a
Sure.
typical day in a camp look like?
So we do essentially think half day camps, and we either partner with an organization already. So, for example, this week we were up at Camp Riley, YWCA of Greater Harrisburg, and we went on a road trip. So we have our Challenge Island Road Trip USA. And if you're going to go on a road trip, Derek, what do you need?
A car?
Yes. And the kids, that was the last thing they said. Probably because they don't drive it. They're not allowed and stuff. And even we actually took it a step further, and we actually went in an RV, but they had to engineer their
Ooh.
RV first. So we have to do that, and then we're going to go all across America, and we're going to see sites like we're going to go to Florida. Clearly, we have to do some roller coasters there. We got to go visit the Statue of Liberty in New York. We're going to Hawaii, and there's some volcanoes in Hawaii, right? Some are active, some are not. And so we'll do some chemical reactions wearing our safety goggles. There's nothing I love more than when my Challenge Island kids put their safety goggles on. And we, do that one both as its own camp. So they're either 3 to 4 days long, they're 3 hours each day. And we do 3 to 4 challenges in those 3 hours. So again, they're told what the problem is. They need to work together to create a solution, and then they build. Um, and so they do all those things. Again, it's all cross curricular. So it's the engineering process for those 3 to 4 hours. And then we have our Challenge Island Junior camps as well. So for our 5 to 6 year olds, we're able to have, we have both a 2 hour and a 3 hour session for that, where they're able to get those same concepts, because you're never too young, right, to start doing these. Like I said, we make those modifications. And then we do have the steam tank entrepreneurs. That's the one that we actually targeted our middle school population for that, because they can actually start to get that feel for entrepreneurs, and whether they're building their own pet business is what they'd be doing there, a pizza business, right? And that goes from everything. Well, what are you going to charge for this? What toppings are you going to have? What are you not going to have? And learning actual business concepts, and how they can apply some of those things. We have STEAM across the universe. A lot of, a lot of outer space activities there. We do keep them here at Earth though for that.
For
Super
now.
for now. Then they can take off to NASA later. Those will be our future NASA astronauts.
Yeah,
We have
SpaceX or something.
yeah,
NASA's way
super.
behind
Yeah,
now.
they're the ones going to Mars for us. So we have Super Steam Hero, because, who doesn't love superheroes? We already talked about Slimetopia. We have another session of that coming up. Um, Derek will get you the right website, because all of our camps are listed on there. And I'm trying to think of, we already said Steam Tank Entrepreneurs. And we're doing Road Trip USA. And
So for
last but
how
not
many
least,
days are they? So if
three
somebody
or
signs up
four.
3 or 4 days
Yep,
and
yep,
they're at a location
yep.
and a parent would drop them
Drop off,
off
and
for
pick up.
however many hours and then
Yep.
pick up.
Send a snack and a
And
water.
they're always 3 or 4, or
Yep.
are there all day ones too?
There are no all day ones. So we're doing 3 to 4 hour ones, and some are in the morning and some are in the afternoon. We tried to make it, so that, because scheduling, right? No one's ever available all the
So
time.
you could do
And so we tried
both.
to have a variety.
That would
You
be all day,
could.
right?
Oh,
There you
Derek,
go.
you
Are
could.
they different? If you did different
Yeah.
ones on different days, then you
Yeah.
could do all
You
day for
could.
people.
Oh, thanks for
Ooh.
thinking of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Bundle.
go to one in the morning over here, grab a picnic lunch, and then go to the afternoon one.
If the kid can handle it by this
Oh, they can
halfway through
handle
the
it.
second one. It's
Oh,
that much
I'm
fun?
telling you, they do. And here's the other part. So one of my favorite things in the after school program is an hour and a half long. Go in, right? Now these kids have been in school all day, right? So they're drained, they're like, "Oh, I got to go to this thing." Well, when 5 o'clock came every week, well, of course we clean up first, but when I gave that cleanup we use our challenge island. They all were just like, "No, it can't be time yet." And like they would literally like be like, "But I have to keep building." And I'm like, "Well, then you can keep doing that, when you're at home." And the kids will go home and like while they're cooking dinner, right? The kids actually do entertain themselves because they just I love the part where parents tell me they just kept building. They couldn't stop. And I'm like, I know. I can't help that part. That's them. That's not me. So yeah, they'd be pretty excited to get their picnic lunch and come on back.
Yeah, that's all. That's great. And if it keeps them busy, for sure, I'd be all about it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's all screen free, right? So they're still able to, I like to say, keep those devices for the parents that need to multitask and are
Right.
like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all of these things here? Quickly do this Reading Eggs app. We love the Reading Eggs app. And, things along that nature too. So absolutely. Thanks for thinking of that. And we're going to be gearing up, believe it or not, Derek, for after school for 2021 because all of these summer camps, we kind of had those all set up back in February, which feels so far behind. And now that we've actually are teaching the summer camps, now we got to look at what does 2021 look like and what
Yeah,
after school
actually, that's a
programs
good
can
thing.
we do.
One of my questions sorry to interrupt you, had written down is how far in advance do people need to? Are you already out of
Yeah.
luck for the summer camps, or what's
No,
the
you
deal
are
there?
not out of luck. You're out of luck for a few. I am so excited that we have sold out camps. And we have some spots remaining. So grab those while they're available. Like I said, there's a variety of different camps available, different locations, different times. And if any organizations need us to bring curriculum, right? So there's tends to be, I know, a lot of help wanted signs out there, and some of the camps are even struggling themselves to have instructors, etc. Well, we can bring that instruction to them. In fact, I was really excited that my camp director the other day said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to get work done." Like she thought she would have to be a little bit more hands-on when we were there, but she literally did. She took her laptop and she's like, "I just got emails done." She's like, "Thank you." So because we bring everything, we set it up, the kids help clean up, and then we take everything down and take that back with us, which is we do have some availability in the afternoons primarily to bring things on site if any of that is still in need as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You can actually be the activity for other camps. Because I remember with the rock
Absolutely.
climbing gym, we used to have like the karate studio had like an all day, all week camp, but
Yep.
they didn't do karate all day every day. They would go do
Right.
other stuff and do karate part of the time or whatever. So that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, because if one of those centers like your I which one was it called? The one where you go? The one where you do all of your events over there, your charity events.
The rock climbing gym?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so if they're running a camp, right? So in the morning, Challenge Island can come in and run a camp or a 1 hour field trip, and stuff like that. So if anyone needs to partner any of that, just follow all those contact things that Derek is so good at providing for you. Because the cool part is, like you said, it's always more so of it's very customizable, right? So, oh my gosh, I just need one hour workshop. And so we just work together and say, oh yeah, here, we're available on this day. Oh no, we're not available on that one. Or I need something 6 months from now for a whole week activity, and whatever that need may be. That's pretty cool that we're able to be flexible on those things as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can tailor make activity or a birthday party
Absolutely.
or whatever, and you'll get an offer to
Absolutely.
get a birthday party. And
Oh
what
yeah.
are we at? 54 minutes. All right, we need to do our funny questions soon, which you
Oh my
have been
goodness. I've
so
been so
patiently
nervous.
waiting for.
But
But
nervous.
before we
Uh-huh.
do, we got to give people an idea of costs. Obviously, you don't have to rattle off the cost of all these things, but like if somebody were to sign up for one of these camps, how much does that run?
Sure. So I will go ahead and do this last week. I believe we did I don't have them all memorized. So it was 4 days, 3 days, 3 hours each day. So we're running about, in the $200 range. So kind of just think $17 an hour for kids because um in the marketplace, if you go out and you look at other enrichment activities for your children, we're right there. Um, with the rest of the market there, which is really good because we do everything we can, of course, to maintain those costs so that we can provide that enrichment for the kids. Again, you can see all my supplies over here. So, of
Yeah.
course, trying to partner with our community as well, I was able to um, reach out through this group and secure some shirts and able to help
Ooh,
somebody else in our group so our kids could have their Slimetopia. And
nice.
so it's really nice to um, be able to provide such an enrichment activity for the kids as well.
And it comes to you that when you said the price, it seemed completely reasonable to me. I was expecting higher, frankly. And you have actual goods that you have to buy. It's not like a karate class where they don't. It's just time
Yeah,
I mean, they have a facility, and you don't have a facility, I guess. But
right.
there's stuff you got to buy, there's stuff you got to do. So I think it's
And
great.
prep it. So it's really, we've had a lot of compliments, especially since we had to do so much individualized things, right? We dropped off, so we had a whole school, 300 kids, 300 1-gallon Ziploc bags with their supplies for each kid because of social distancing. And we got a ton of compliments of how, like, those kits were assembled and the kids, they didn't have to say, oh, I don't have this or I don't have that, so very, very exciting to be able to make it easy. One of the things we like to say here at Challenge Island is you tell us what you need and then we will help you. You don't have to do the work.
Yeah, I feel like there's a business at churches. Our church is really good. There's always some craft or something in a bag, a bunch of stuff that comes or shows up at our door. Our church is really good with kids
Yes,
activities. There might be a model there for you to
you
partner with
betcha.
churches and supply some
Absolutely.
some things there.
Absolutely. They're on my
Churches,
list for sure.
synagogues, all the places of worship for the kids.
Absolutely. Yep.
That'd be fantastic. All right, funny question.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm ready.
So there are 81 of them on the list. Pick a number between 1 and 81.
31, my college field hockey number.
Oh, nice. Was it your high school field hockey number as
No,
well?
thank you for asking. My high school field hockey number was 3 and then 11. Well, guess what? Both of those numbers were taken when I got to Wilkes by upperclassmen, of course. So I made a 31.
Nice. Yeah. I was going to say, that's usually the reason you never change your number. I
No,
think
no.
I got 23, I think, in high school.
Oh,
Um,
popular.
and then I didn't play in college, but I'm sure 23 would have been taken because that's probably the
Oh,
first. Michael
everybody
Jordan,
wants
for
that one.
those that don't know
Everybody wants to get
whose
that
number
one.
that is. All right, 31. What Disney princess would make the best spy? Ooh, my daughter would like
Oh my
this
goodness.
question.
I think it would be Merida.
I don't
She
even know who that is.
she's from Brave. As long as I'm saying my Disney princess, right?
I don't even know what that
Um,
is.
oh wow, that's your action item then.
Is that
Yeah,
you?
so she's a Scottish, I'm pretty sure she's Scottish, and she is a fiery redhead, but she's not the only redhead
Uh,
princess. Um, so I think she would make a really good spy. Because she's the one, she kind of escaped. She was a bit of a rebel. Her parents, then she turned her mom into a bear, and
oh,
she got her back to regular human shape though, and her brothers accidentally turned into little bears too, triplet brothers. She didn't want to marry a prince that her dad had set up for her, so she escaped all of that. So I think she'd make a pretty good spy.
nice. And I've never heard, it must be new and I'm going to have to check it out. And forgive me for rushing now because I'm looking at my timer and I have about 60 seconds to finish this so that it'll fit on IGTV. So I'm going to put all the information up here. Basically go to challengeisland.com/central PA and you can find everything there. And I'm going to leave the ticker up as I go out. If you're interested in a business spotlight package or doing an episode, please hit me up. Also hit me up if you need to buy or sell a house. We really need inventory. Like I said, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon, or do some cool sciencey project like a Rube Goldberg device that makes things happen, and then you end up
Yeah,
knocking
send
on
it
my
in with
door
a
or something.
pulley. Send it in with a pulley.
There you go. And remember to support Central PA businesses. And I'm going to be hitting you up for a camp because my daughter loves science. She says she wants to be a scientist when she grows up. That could change, obviously, but I'm really looking for something for the summer. So we're going to talk
Awesome.
when we get off camera. Thanks,
You
everybody, for
betcha.
watching. 30 seconds. All right. we'll say bye. See everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.